Sometimes you can just run into a car that's completely rare. Today, let's take a look at that. I know it may just look like a plebeian, lonely, boring Accord, but this Accord is a special Accord. Please ignore the aftermarket wheels. Particularly, I don't really like the style of them, but let's go over what kind of Accord I found. This is a 2006 Accord V6 sedan with a 6-speed manual transmission. That's right, Honda only made 2 model years of the 6-speed sedan from 06 to 07, and this is one of them. You can see this one's got particularly nice accessories that I would have added. The accessory rear spoiler on the back is one of them. That's a dealer installed accessory. You can distinguish this as a 6-speed model in the back from that red V6 badge. All the other V6 Accords just get a black badge. Now, if I had the stock rims, you would know that it's a 6-speed as well, because the stock rims on this car come off of the 2002 to 03 Acura TL Type S. They're a really good looking wheel design. I'm not sure why the previous owner decided to change the wheels on this. And then you can see at the front, aside from the regular 7th generation Accord design, you have the accessory Honda fog lights. A very nice addition. It's one of the reasons why I like what Honda's done now with their new models. They've included factory fog lights. Before, you actually had to always add them as a dealer accessory. The design of this Accord has aged very well. I like the design aesthetics of it. This particular one only has 20,000 miles on it. It's a very rare model with an extremely low mileage. And when you go to the rear, all the Accords of this generation, which basically spanned from 03 to 07, got LED taillights in the back. That started in 06. People tend to call this one a 7.5 edition Accord, but this generation Accord just was an incredibly, really good seller for Honda. Now, looking at the interior, this silver on black interior for this model is just a very classic choice, and you can see the interior of this car is very clean. This is one babied car for sure. Now, stepping in, it's a very easy to step in height to get in because this is an Accord. Here's the key for the vehicle. It's Honda's key. They still use this key. They actually may be phasing it out soon, and you can see here's that lovely rare 6-speed manual transmission. To start the car up, obviously you have to push the clutch in. You can see only 20,437 miles on it, and the V6 starts up very quickly, and it makes a very nice sound at startup. Shutting the door, only the driver's window is automatic up-down. The new Accord has given you automatic up-down for the driver and the passenger. And you can see the interior of this vehicle has aged pretty well. I still like the design aesthetics of it. It's a very high-quality interior as well. You can see you do get a premium audio system with the V6 model. I believe it's like a 7-speaker 180 watt versus 120 watts in the regular V6 Accords. The dashboard material is soft touch plastic. You have some bright aluminum, or I guess bright silver trim to kind of break up the black in here. I do kind of wish there was more. The V6 model gives you this faux carbon fiber look trim splashed throughout the vehicle just to distinguish it as a V6 model. The door panels are also soft touch with a chrome door handle, leather stitching right here where your elbows are going to rest, and then more of the carbon fiber here on the window switches. The steering wheel is your typical steering wheel. It's not the 3-spoke design. The coupes gave you a 3-spoke wheel, but you do have a nice bolstering extension. It's leather wrapped here and there. You do get dual zone automatic climate control, as well as XM satellite radio and heated seats. And of course, the instrumentation of this vehicle is very nice. I like the LED illumination. The newer Accord's gauges, I think, look even better with the new graphics. Now, the glove compartment is damped. It's a slightly small size. It's not lined with felt or anything like that. And then when you come to the center console here, you have cup holders here, and then a sliding armrest, which is nice. And then you have storage here, which is actually 2-level storage. This actually is very reminiscent of the 7th gen Accord, or I'm sorry, the 6th gen Accord. Honda didn't even really change that. In terms of the manual, it actually comes with the same stubby little shifter from the 8th gen SI and the ILX that's in our long-term fleet. You can see here it's got traditional Honda snickety-snick throws. It's a very short throw shifter, reverses in the same spot. The clutch is also very light, and we'll get into how this car drives in a moment. Now, when you look at the back seat of the Accord, the 6-speed sedan is definitely a model that I wish that the company would bring back. You've got very generous legroom back here, something that the coupe model just doesn't give you. Unfortunately, you don't get rear seat vents back here. Honda added that for the 8th generation. Shutting the door, the materials here are still soft touch on the upper portions, leather stitched right here, more of that fake carbon fiber. You got dual map pockets. You have very generous legroom, and then you have an armrest right here with cup holders as well as a pass-through here. The seats do fold down in one piece. Now, when you come to the trunk capacity of the Accord sedan, it's a pretty good-sized trunk. Surprisingly, Honda did put a lining material there, so that's good. You get about 14 cubic feet of space. You can see there the seats do fold down in one piece with a little pass-through. Overall, the new Accord definitely has a much larger trunk than this, but this is still very competitive. when you get under the hood, you'll find one pretty badass engine for the time. This is Honda's corporate, at the time, a 3-liter VTEC J30 V6. The engine produces pretty good numbers, 244 horsepower and 211 pound-feet of torque. Most models will have the 5-speed auto, which is an okay powertrain. It's sufficient for most people. The 6-speed, however, really turns this car into a sleeper car. I'll show you guys more on how it drives. Expect fuel economy to be about, I want to say, 18, 27, something like that, on regular gas. So let's take a look at how it drives. Now you guys know how much I love practical vehicles that are speedy, basically sleeper cars. I love cars that can carry a lot of room, that have a lot of room for your passengers and your stuff, and then you can also smoke people at the light. That's one of my favorite kind of vehicles to buy. And that was actually a 3rd gear chirp. I'm not kidding. Now, for those of you who've driven this Accord, and I imagine a lot of you have, this Accord is one of Honda's best vehicles that they've ever made, or one of the best Accords they've ever made. And this model that I'm driving is incredibly rare. I can't stress that enough. And the driving dynamics of it really is just very special. This car's character is completely changed with this 6-speed model, just because when you have a manual and you have 244 horsepower, under your control with this 6-speed gearbox, the car really just transforms. It's a little bit lighter than the automatic. It's got really 6 closely spaced gears that are well matched to the engine's power band. It's about a 3,300 pound curb weight, so it's about 200 pounds lighter than the current Accord V6. And with this combination, Honda said this car would get to 60 in about 5.8 seconds, 5.8. That's an incredible number. Even to this day, you'll be smoking a lot of mid-sized family sedans that are brand new right now. The handling of this Accord is also quite nice. You have a hydraulic power steering system. It gives you back a lot of feedback. It has a nice heft to it. It doesn't have that lightness that all the new cars today have. The one thing about this V6, however, with the 6-speed is it's got something that I don't feel in Hondas quite often, and that's torque steer. It's got a little bit of torque steer, and it's got a little bit of wheel hop. I mean, it's got 212 pound-feet of torque, which is not necessarily a lot for a V6. I mean, this is a smaller V6. It's a 3-liter V6, but the engine is typical Honda in the fact that it revs really smoothly, it revs really quickly. It makes a very nice VTEC snapping snarl noise at like 5,000 RPM. And this car really just feels like an entirely different car, I gotta say. I've driven the V6 automatic many times, and it's a good powertrain combination, but this is really the one to get. And it's a shame that Honda doesn't build this sedan 6-speed anymore. It's really a big shame for me. Now, when you're settled down, when you put it into its 6th gear and you're cruising along, this is still an Accord. It rides very comfortably. It has a very nice balance between ride and handling, even to this day. The road noise is on the higher side. I suspect these aftermarket wheels with those tires probably aren't helping, but the Accord in general during this time frame wasn't really known for its quietness in terms of the road noise. The seats are very comfortable. The 7th generation Accord has one of the best seats that I've ever sat in, and I gotta say I could drive this car on a long trip, no problems. And then of course the visibility in here is excellent. You don't have those crazy design languages and those big fat window pillars to get in the way, even though this car does have side curtain airbags. Surprisingly though, the pillar's not really that thick. Now really what you're only missing in this car is the tech stuff. It's missing Bluetooth. Don't expect to find Bluetooth. It doesn't have a backup camera. There is navigation available, but the nav system sucked. It's Honda's old generation DVD touchscreen nav with these really crummy graphics. So there's no HIDs, there's no push to start. Don't expect any of those modern tech features in this car. But it's still surprisingly a nice car, even back then, back in 06. Not very many family sedans offer this blend of power, performance, and space that the Accord offered. See here, this car accelerates very well. I definitely think this car is definitely a sub 6-second car. I know I said that many times, but I'm just pretty impressed. This car will smoke Civic SIs today, and basically the only car that could beat it is either the current Accord V6, at least from Honda's lineup, or a TL with all-wheel drive at a 6-speed. And this car is just unbelievable. So anyways, I definitely had fun showing you guys this car. If you're in the market for an Accord 6-speed like this, I gotta say, good luck finding them, because back when I was in high school, I used to dream about owning these cars one day, and I gotta tell you, finding one like this is a very rare proposition indeed. So if you do find one and you want one, get it when you see it right in front of you. Anyways, guys, hope you've enjoyed my overview of this 2006 Honda Accord V6 6-speed. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you all later.